All right, here we go again. Buckle up. Rough roads ahead. Let's smooth out those rough roads. So it's weird for me because obviously 4 years ago, had I been left to be and not psyoped, again, remember, I've been tortured, psychologically tortured, and it turns into physical torture when you have pain from what they're doing. I've been tortured around massage therapy, and they also use disruption technology and healthcare and pain management. Right. However, I just massage. Like I'm thinking of my brother. I'm like, my brother could probably massage that Charlie horse out of his leg. I should tell him. And the thing was like, don't tell him. And I'm like, no, I'm not telling him. And then I like started massaging mine after that, and I'm like, oh wow, it's almost gone. So now my hips are a little bit more level. Well, if you're healing me out there, it could be working kind of. My left leg is still too weak. So 4 years ago, I could have been. Well, now my back isn't cramping up as much. Now that I massaged out that Charlie horse, at least partially, in my calf. It's kind of almost permanently there, but apparently my brother has one too. Yeah, that's what happens. My brother's going to need surgery, right? His is probably easier, just like a disc or something. Right. But this guy is right. I mean, it's a little too weak, but this guy's right. I think he said, well, I think it'll work with what I'm going to do. But it's still kind of, it's getting irritated again. I might even actually have the trigger point. They probably might have to put a trigger point in there. Well, this is how the back got messed up. It's not from gym. Like they try to say it's because you were in the gym. Like, nah. Right. Because I really didn't. I generally didn't lift too much weight. I did this thing where I lifted it behind my head, which might have caused some of it. But again, compared to what other people are lifting, not really. Right. So it's because of the stress that they created and then getting tight and not being able to get to massage. So I have to have my legs massaged again, but it's a little more comfortable. I'm actually in my sandals. My sandals weren't working out; they were a little uncomfortable until I massaged that Charlie horse out. But the Lord's been saying I have to get the massage done. Yeah, one point can throw everything off. So definitely 4 years ago, I could have been healed. There's no doubt. I mean that. I mean, I spent 4 years all crimped up and all screwed up. So right, there's obviously further damage. Right. Again, they did it. They'll go to hell for it. Well, I knew some sort of healing would take place. Again, I knew I'd survive COVID. The Lord said, I'll heal you. I heard you. But yeah, I got that scripture. The Lord, yeah, heard your cries and I will heal you. Right before I caught COVID, right, I knew I had COVID. Right? So I just still got to massage my legs and my ankles and all that. But I mean, I was really bad off. Like in Oklahoma City, I was trying to get to massage. I just couldn't break through whatever they were doing. Right. Well, the operators probably worked for Biden. He was probably in power. Right. Or the people that were around Biden. The handlers. Nah, it's just the left leg seems a little bit too weak at this point. Like I could walk on it when it was cramped up because it was like a peg leg. We'll see. I'll try to because the right one is still jacked up a little bit, still stiff a little bit. Again, he's going to give me this. I didn't even use steroids in years now, like corticosteroids. Right. So I haven't even had steroid treatment. Just took like an arnica and magnesium, Epsom salt bath. It feeling kind of a little bit more normal. But again, if I get massages, maybe it'll lay in better. I don't know. They weren't supposed to do that to me at all. I'd be fine if I stayed in massage. I know now if I stayed in. I mean, it freaks me out. 4 years down the tubes, right? Couldn't get anywhere. They actually had an obligation to get me somewhere, is what it's saying. Right? If you're like investigating me and knowing I need some massage or something like that, you're not supposed to come against it. You're supposed to get me there, right? Yeah, I was, everything was stiff and cramped, and I just, knew it was better than what was before, but I wanted to get massage. I just couldn't get to it. I'm going to try to stretch this thing a little bit. Right. Well, when it was really, I mean, it's still got like a cramp in it, but when it was really cramped up, my hips were a lot less even, so it leveled a little bit. And it feels like my right side of my head, because the right side was kind of it just would tighten up. My sinuses don't drain as well on the right side, like by the ears and all that. It feels like that's more open to draining now. No, I feel much better now than I did all day. I don't know. It could be something with the weather too. Who knows? Guess I gotta take this and put the water in there. It's very sad that I couldn't get there 2 years ago or 4 years ago. But again, it's very sad that 20 years ago, right? They didn't just let me be. I probably could. Maybe I would have been around by. I don't know. Now they're with Satan. I know Satan when I see Satan. No, because Satan does certain things to your head every so often, right? Try to make you feel a certain way. No, Satan's real. Satan's real, but it's not like usually the people that put horns on their head. Those people are probably just like, just weird, possessed people, right? So like the devils make them do this, so they can point to them, right? The billionaires are devils, so you know what they actually look like, right? Elon, Larry, Altman. Now Elon's kind of off the deep end. I don't know. I don't. Well, like I say, there's a way to do things and a way not to do things. I mean, you can still save the money. It's just, well, it's just like, none. In a courtroom, and the lights started blinking when I said that. In a courtroom, none of it makes any sense. And that's why, it's why he's probably raging at the judges, because they're going to be like, what? What are you talking about? Like I used to say, doesn't Elon have lawyers that tell him what to say and what not to say? Right. I think a long time ago when he got indicted, I said, don't say anything. Yeah, I think that's what I said, right? Right. Well, like I said, 5 years from now is when the statute of limitation runs on that stuff. Well, Trump's only going to be in 4 years, and there's a good chance the Democrats will be in there with what's going on. Right. Well, you can be indicted and charged for retaliation. Now, those other pardons don't work. They're going to shoot those pardons now. The prophylactic pardon. It's a scam, believe me. There's not, because what you're doing is you essentially could have your administration commit crimes and then pardon everybody when you leave office. I mean, that's bullshit, right? Correct. That kind of does freak me out, like more than anything in my whole life. Is that the last 4 years I could have got massages and and magnesium oil baths, and I would have healed a lot more than I was. Like, yeah. Thanks, Larry. Thanks. I just need my money. I don't know if your planes will stop flipping over until I get my money. I'm not doing anything against them, but God might be. Actually, God's removing his hand off your planes. But we didn't really have that much snow. I thought it was much more. I thought we were going to get like 8 inches because it kept snowing, but it like didn't go any. It just didn't. It was like micro flakes. It's only going to be like 3-4 inches. Right? I think 3 inches. Right. So I got a army green case because they would deliver it today. I was sick of the fingerprint thing not working. I ordered another case and then I went for a replacement on that one, but I don't know. Maybe I'll return it. I don't know. Well, the black case took like a week or half a week to deliver, and I'm like, nah. I do feel better than I did all day. Boy, I was screwed up all day. Well, I'm more relaxed. Could be mold or something. I don't know. Again, I can't make heads or tails of the pollen wise when I try to balance it off like AccuWeather. It doesn't make any sense. So I can't tell you what anything is really. No, when Elon got indicted by the Justice Department or his corporation, I don't remember what it was. I said, "Don't say anything." Because this is like, well, it's retaliation. You're not going. The question is whether they're going to indict you. It isn't whether you're going to beat the case or anything like that. You're not going to be pardoned for it because you're not going to be indicted until after Trump leaves office. They're not going to. How can they allow a prophylactic pardon? It doesn't make any sense because it thwarts checks and balances. Essentially, your whole administration can violate laws for 4 years. That's why they make it 5 years, I think. But then again, sometimes they're in 8 years, so I don't know. Right? Yeah, statute of limitations should actually be 9 years. Correct. Well, because there's a check and balance, and the administration, you could sit there and commit crimes. Well, I see what you're saying because it's a different Justice Department. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? I guess you could if you got 8 years in. Right. I can't see you lasting more than 2 years in there, as far as having full power. But we'll see. Well, the farmers come up again. I mean, it's just the farmers are like sold out on Trump. And he douches them, right? Something's asking questions. I can't hear it. No, I feel a lot better right now. I don't know why. And all I really did was massage that Charlie horse. So I can actually see why he thinks he can fix it, but again, it's probably going to be too weak. Right. That proves to me that if they never bothered my massage, I'd have been fine. Right. So my brother was like obsessed with getting his blood pressure down. I think that's why it was so high. It stressed him out somewhere. But right. And they blocked me from getting my blood pressure down. They just kept screwing me. I finally got medicine. Right. Okay. But I always said, all that running isn't good. Right. You should, walking's better, but you got to do it 3 times a day, at least a half hour each session. I think ours better than running, or maybe the same. Because you don't wear your body down. You just have to keep going. Right. I was saying Mark Kerr was a good surgeon, a great surgeon. Right. Talented. Very nice guy. I mean, he's a nice guy. No, he was like, and his face lit up when as soon as I said, well, how long does it take for something? I think he misunderstood what I said kind of a little bit, but that's what I needed to know anyway. He goes, oh no, as soon as actually, no, I did ask. I think, how long does it take for that nerve to heal? He goes, well, as soon as I get that weight off of the bone off of your nerve, your leg fires right back up. Yeah, big smile on his face. He said, I've got people that are, they're golfing or horseback riding, because he's that section of Pennsylvania, rich people with the horses and so. Right. It's not Yardley. I forget the name of that area. Like I saw myself in that area and everything, and then it disappeared. Oh, the ritzy people. But the woman was like, it was like they treated me so good. Like, I called, talked to her, and she said, well, I'm going to try to get you this guy. I don't know if he's going to do it for sure, but we'll try. And he wouldn't do it. It's like the big cheese. I forget his name. So I was kind of like, but. What they say is like the big cheese. Like they all talk. Like you have what do you call it? Like they have professional meetings, right? So if there's any questions about what should be done on your case, they'll share with each other, right? Because it's a fusion, they'll probably share because it's a pretty big case, right? There's chances that other attorneys will look at it all, or other doctors will look at it also. Right? Probably already did before he spoke to you. It's like my brother's at Rothman now. He's like with his back. Like, yeah, you cheese. Well, I definitely wasn't treated well on this planet. Of course, this is not my home. I'm just a pilgrim passing through. I just disconnected myself from the planet again. Why? Floating away. No, I swear, I wake up and God's like, and God can be funny in your head because he does. Communication isn't perfect, right? And God was like, "Don't worry about nothing. When we leave this place, we're going straight up. Because we're going to go visit the nebula, and all of a sudden, I start seeing nebulas, like that Moses, the video that the Mormons have of Moses, Moses, son of God. I think that's the only one that isn't like Bible. I think it's their scripture, if I'm not mistaken, but I'm not sure. The Book of Mormon, that is. But God starts showing me all these things. And I go, well, can we breathe up there? He's like, you don't need to breathe. But, we can breathe if it makes you more comfortable. And then all of a sudden, God starts going, starts breathing up there. Speaking of which, think the Pope's going to pass on or what? You just got a well done, good, and faithful servant. My gosh. Yeah, politics is politics, but he had the right focus trying to accept everyone. Right. If somebody wants to, they're saying to call somebody in. I don't know who it is. Yeah, let me pass that to the Vatican. That came up too many times. I don't know. Could be somebody in China for all I know. Listen to what the spirits say to the Vatican. The spirits say to call some doctor in. However, I don't know the doctor where that doctor is. Reach out to professional medical societies and look to see if there's some sort of boutique therapy that hasn't been tried yet. No, it's pretty weird, the whole thing. What happened to me? Correct, brother. That's crooked. I gotta try to straighten that out. Oh, Vatican now. Just to make sure Elon doesn't block it. You could be mad at me. No credit, more. Nobody will know you exist, more. No credit. Actually, it could be those cops that work for social media. No, I actually can walk in my sandals better right now. They weren't quite working, and I couldn't figure it out. Yeah, I definitely could have healed much more. Right. I'm going to put this. You know what it feels like? Remember when, what was that guy's name that died? Who was that guy that died of cancer and they tried the therapy from Mexico? Actor. Actor died, cancer, therapy, Mexico. Yeah, I thought it was Steve McQueen. Oh my gosh. It feels like Steve McQueen. I was sad. Like so, that's like when I was a kid, or how old was I? I don't even know how old I was. 1980. 1980, yeah. So I was young. That was like, that made me sad. Like, I never was like, I don't think I was even that sad when my dad died. I was sad when Steve McQueen died. Like, I guess I was like, what, like 16 years old or something? I was like 16 years old. Hormones. So he's definitely heading in that direction. It has that feel to it. Like, but apparently this might work, whatever it is. Right. Unless it's too late, I don't know. Yeah, I was really sad when Steve McQueen died. I don't know if I was ever that sad about anybody dying. I think Steve McQueen's here, isn't he? He's here in the spirit somewhere. I can sense it. Steve McQueen's here. It's a joke. God, Hashem does jokes like that. I don't know if this is true, but the vision Hashem gave me about Nixon passing. Nixon goes to heaven, and it's like Kennedy's, the Robert and JFK, Lyndon B. Johnson. There's no Republicans there. It's all Democrats. That's how Shem said he did to Nixon. Nah, Nixon did enough nice stuff, right, for people. Yeah, he really wasn't a crook. It just he got caught up in the political thing and made a mistake. Idiots led him in the wrong direction. I mean, they should have said no, president, no, right? It's just like Reagan and Oliver North. Oliver North's an idiot for putting Reagan into something like that, right? Yeah, you got to make it cleaner than that. Hey, Larry. No, I'm serious. I don't know if I ever was sad about anybody else dying. Steve McQueen died. I'm like, ah! I used to watch television when I was a kid. I watched like we all did. We didn't have computers. We're like, ooh. Ooh. I didn't watch stupid stuff. I watched pretty cool stuff, like Steve McQueen movies. That's not bad stuff, Right. Steve McQueen, Charlton Heston, Clint Eastwood, spaghetti westerns. I wasn't into gore, but I would watch horror movies, like the goofy ones, right? Because Dr. Shock was in Philadelphia, and he had a show where he put on, Saturday. I guess you watched it. No, I'd learn to cook. I'd cook stuff, I'd eat and watch television when I was a little kid. My mother was always sleeping because she was, had work. She went to school and worked and all that. Right. My brother Steve was the first cook, I think. I remember we were in Philadelphia. My mother wasn't home, and we're sitting at the table in the kitchen. It's the same house where my father had passed away, so within a few years of that, 5 years, I guess, right? And we hear this siren. Pull up front, these guys with big axes come in. My brother Steve spilled his drink. He was like, ah! He heard the siren. Is there a fire? No, we're eating. God, my mother wasn't there. It was me, Randy, and Steve. I know my mother wasn't in the house. I don't know where she was. Steve was babysitting or something. Steve used to beat me up when he babysitted. Right. He hit me with my mother's heels before. He'd grab my mother's heels and be so he was beating me up. So I went into my mother's room and I locked the door. And we're young, it was I was probably under 10. Right. And he's like, let me in. And he was conning me, I let him in. He grabbed my mother's heels and beat me with them, just a couple times. Bing, bing. Right. But of course, nobody knows about it. He's like a narcissist back when he was a kid. He's still kind of wacky, right? But he isn't as bad. No, when it was he would set me up, right? Larry's the evil kid. Because he stabbed me with a pencil. I said, well, don't beat me with mom's heels. I won't grab a pencil. Lead poisoning, die! No, I wasn't like that. But yeah, he was pretty rough. He was wacko. He was a little kid. But he's like a narcissist. It was everybody else's fault. It's his victim's fault. He grew out of it, though. His friends, because it's all the friends that he got, when he got older, they were just different. When we're in Philadelphia, him and his friends were Northeast. They would and I never knew about the will. So they will Randy, my little brother, and me to fight. Wrestling. And we'd be really doing it. I'm but it was they were willing it. Right. So we do WWE wrestling. But when he moved to the suburbs, they were pretty good kids. So they were all well, Steve was honors at that point and all that. Right. And then when I went in the Army, they all were tripping over that. They loved that. I came back, 30 pounds lighter, starved. For Fort Leonard Wood. No, they definitely weren't supposed to be in my life. Like that was scary, and I knew all along that there was like drop dead dates in that thing that they would affect me if I couldn't get married or get away from it. Like getting married would be like getting away from it, right? Because of the isolation would die, right? No, they isolated, and if you broke the isolation, they'd come and they'd torture you. That's true. I mean, it's really what they're doing. They're sickos. Thanks, Larry. Yeah, I think one of the problems is that lumbar. It may be like the real problem. Right? Like there may not be anything much other really wrong. Right? Well, because it triggers this cramping of all the muscles. He might even try ablation. I don't know, because he said if you're a epidural failure, then we can always go to ablation. So you see, that's the kind of guy I needed. So because we never would have stopped, we would have at least went forward to see if we could find something else. Right. So he's pretty much a great doctor. It's like assistant was in there, and taking the initial information. And God actually had one of my. It was like all messed up. I had a copy. It had like a stain on it. It was the write up from my MRI, right? And then he was able to find some X-rays of me that they had in the system here, right? That's cool. Yeah, I should have married a nurse, right? Because she could have got me to all the right stuff. Like in Naples, it was just too weird. Like it was two cops, and they could have been agents for all I know, right? Because they were rusing me everywhere, right? So it's two cops, a boy, He looked like, yeah, he looked like a boy, a man and a woman, right? They look like brothers and sisters. They're like whack. And then that Jen girl, right? And they're all doing crazy shit around me. And there was a couple others, and Jen's friend, whoever she was, right? Her name may not even really be Jen, so right. Supposedly worked for a radio station in Naples. And this woman came up to me because, again, that's the way the deep state works. And again, it was early on, so I was a little leery, right? So the woman comes, I guess not so early on, but kind of early on, right? They were doing a bunch of stuff, so I was a little leery because what they do is they do a bunch of crazy stuff to you, and then they do something over here. Now I know it's an investigative technique, but it was bullshit what you were all doing, right? So this woman comes to me because my friend would like to meet you, and I think she was a nurse, right? But I just couldn't see to it, right? I couldn't get to it. Could have been a setup, right? But I think she said she was a nurse at the hospital or something. So it would have worked. But again, you can't get to what you can't get to. Just like 4 years ago, I could have continued on with massage, and if I had a decent people around me, a decent doctor that really took an interest. And again, they were pretty much operating down there pretty heavy in Texas, so they may have just wanted me out of their hair because they didn't want to be harassed. Right. That's another thing they do. They harass people till they shun you or get rid of you. 100%. So, like when I massage this Charlie horse, now this mucus is starting to drain a little bit more. So, because my back chilled out a little bit, so all that tension is removing. Well, if you give me the money, I could maybe stay here. I don't know if I want to get surgery here, but if I had enough money, I could keep the apartment and then go somewhere to get surgery for a few months. But I guess that wouldn't make sense. Kansas City, and if they are, whether they're available to me. No, I've been in pain kind of the whole time, and it just chilled to a certain level. And I think maybe because it was cramped up, it wasn't sending pain signals. No, I don't take ibuprofen anymore because I don't want it to ruin my stomach. I might again at a certain point if I get my stomach back in. But it goes back and back and back. I mean, they've been starting. They started this decades ago. Right? And all it takes is somebody to pay. So there's no like, oh, you're really a bad guy because they did this to you. Let me see if I Google it. Boutique pneumonia treatment. What comes up? It's like nothing. There's just normal stuff, right? Cutting. I'm gonna try cutting edge, right? Cutting edge. Boosting immune cells. Here's one. Oh, shit. Daryl Zildjian. Oh shit. Well, if he's going south, you might want to try this. Good thing Elon didn't take this offline. I know I'm inside with these type of people. All right, let me see where we go next. Because it's the best place to put it. All right, let's see where else we got. EET suppressors. How far did they get? EET suppressors. Oh, shit. Well, rebuke him. Rachel, exorcism. This came up next. Thank you, Larry. Fuck. Oh my God. Thank you much. Thank you, Larry. Thank you much. Don't stop. It will try to return with other evil spirits. This came up next. Oh, shit. This came up next. Oh, shit. Oh.